This is huge. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been linked to one of my favorite running backs in this draft class, Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State. The former Cowboy is one of the top backs in this upcoming draft class, a loaded draft class for running backs. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers stick to their guns and draft the type of running back that they have always gone after, that means they need to get Ollie Gordon on this team and in this backfield. Before we dive into why the Steelers are interested in Ollie Gordon and what he could bring to the table, I want you guys to subscribe to the channel Steelers Digest. 94% of you watching these videos have not yet subscribed, but if you want the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, updates, and analysis throughout the offseason and into next season, hit that sub button, and this channel will provide the latest pertaining to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go, and let's talk about Ollie Gordon, because this guy is one of my favorite backs in the class, and he has a pre-draft visit scheduled with the Pittsburgh Steelers as of Friday. This was announced by Ryan Fowler. He said that the Steelers have a pre-draft visit scheduled with Ollie Gordon. He's from the NFL Draft Network, so he knows what he's talking about. A viable source that talked about Gordon being one of the most productive backs in college football over the past 2 seasons. Dynamic ball carrier with an excellent showing at the Senior Bowl, and he remains one of the premier backs in this loaded draft class. So we continue to dig into Ollie Gordon. He finished 7th in Heisman voting in 2023 after he ran the ball 285 times for 1,732 yards and 21 touchdowns. Now, he didn't match that production in 2024, but the Steelers have maintained interest in Ollie Gordon because of what he already showed in his 2023 season. And then obviously the formal meeting that they already had with him at the Combine. Now he will come to Pittsburgh and get to meet with the coaches and see the Steelers facility. Najee Harris went to the Chargers. That's old news. The current Steelers running backs are Jaylen Warren, who we know all too well, Kenneth Gainwell, who came over from the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, and of course Cordero Patterson. Patterson could wind up being cut, and if the Steelers bring in another running back, whether it's a draft or a free agent signing, Patterson is the first one to go. The Steelers have already brought in running backs DJ Giddens, Dylan Sampson, and Baishul Tootin for pre-draft visits, and they're continuing their interest in backs with Ollie Gordon coming in. Ollie Gordon weighed in at 226 pounds at the Combine, and he didn't run super well in the 40-yard dash, which is why I think the Steelers could actually get Ollie Gordon. He ran a 4.61. That was his official 40-yard dash time, and he probably isn't the speedy running back that the Steelers are looking for if they do want a speed back, but I believe Jaylen Warren can be considered our speed back. If we're looking for a bruiser, a guy to replace Najee Harris, I feel like Ollie Gordon is a perfect fit, and that is what this article said from Steelers Depot. If that's what the Steelers want, Ollie Gordon is their guy. He can be the Najee Harris that they are losing to the Chargers. By the way, I think Najee's going to be spectacular for the Chargers, but he decided to leave. That's on him. He said a lot of bad things about Pittsburgh since he left, so hey, let Najee go. Let Najee do whatever he wants to do, but Ollie Gordon might just be our guy. Najee leaving might have just opened the door for the next great Steelers running back to come in April. So, hey, I'm ready for this. I'm thinking Ollie Gordon could be the guy. I'm all in on Ollie. If he wants to be the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the future, the Oklahoma State product is welcome. I think he looked great in black and gold, and obviously what I saw from Ollie Gordon in 2023, I believe this guy is an absolute stud. He didn't replicate enough of his production in 2024 to be looked at as one of the top backs in the class. Obviously, the only top backs in the class that we're looking at maybe being first-round picks are Ashton Jeanty and Dylan Sampson. After that, we're looking at maybe third round as the next running back off the board based on my projections. And if that's the case, Ollie Gordon could easily be the guy that falls to us. I talked about how much I like Cam Scatterbo. There's other running backs I really like in this class, like RJ Harvey, but Ollie Gordon fits what the Steelers want. That's what I'm really looking at here, is what have the Steelers done historically when they want a new running back? They draft a bruiser. They draft a bigger running back. Gordon has the size to back it up, and they don't have to spend a huge draft pick to get him. They can get him in the 3rd or the 4th round in the 2025 draft, and he could be the power back for the Steelers to replace Najee Harris. Then we look at another tweet from Ryan Fowler back when in February, talking about the teams that have formal meetings scheduled with the Oklahoma State running back: the Broncos, the Chargers, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Dolphins. Guess what? The Chargers just got Najee Harris. They are not drafting Ollie Gordon. I hate to break it to you. The Colts, they're not drafting Ollie Gordon either because they have Jonathan Taylor. If they draft him, he's going to be a backup, which means they're not using a third-round pick on him. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have Isaiah Pacheco. They're not going to spend a third-round pick on a running back either, I would venture to guess. And the Dolphins have Devon Achane. Why would they spend a third-round pick on a running back, even though he would be a great compliment to Devon Achane now that they lost Raheem Mostert? The Broncos lost Javonte Williams, so maybe Ollie could be a fit, but I do think the Steelers are the most RB-needy team on that list. So if he's meeting with all these teams, the Steelers could be like, hey, dude, you're going to be our starting running back if we draft you. He's going to be like, heck yeah, I want to be a Steeler. And he's already talked about how much he loves Mike Tomlin. I'll show you guys those quotes in just a second. But first, we got to talk about what this guy brings to the table. The good, great size, sturdy frame, can be a third-down running back at the NFL level. Great vision, finds the cutback lanes in between the tackles and out in space. Solid change of direction and ability to plant his foot and burst upfield. That is a big thing in today's NFL. Being able to have that first step burst down the field after you use your plant foot. That's something Ollie Gordon is great at. Top end speed is not great, but it is solid when he gets ahead of steam. And that's really what we got to look for. Is he a freight train? Does he pick up speed as he runs down the field? He doesn't have to have that 40 time because we're not looking at 40 time. We're looking at a guy like Bo Jackson that's going to pick it up as he goes down the field and get faster and faster and faster and run people over. That is what he does. He finishes runs with power, solid contact balance, can run through the tackle, break tackles, run after contact, solid play strength, soft hands as a receiver, something we desperately need because Najee Harris couldn't catch the ball. We need a guy that can catch the ball to be our three-down back. Good job manipulating his profile to get through the skinny holes. Good competitive toughness, and also mentally, he's very solid at processing reads, finding the hole. And as for the bad, we're not going to take too much time to talk about the bad because I do want Ollie Gordon, but you have to know some of the things that he can't do as well. He has a tendency to dance or waste movement when approaching the hole. His pace sometimes looks more like hesitation than intentional, so that could be a little bit of a conflict in Ollie Gordon's head when he's trying to decide what he wants to do. A little bit indecisive maybe. Doesn't consistently use his offhand as a weapon to fend off tacklers. So he's relying on his size a little bit more because he's not used to doing the stiff arm, the push off, maybe using his arms to his advantage to fend off defenders. He's not used to doing that. That's something that can develop with time. He dives at the ankles too often in pass protection. And then if you skip to the next step, his pass protection might be something that we have to worry about with Ollie Gordon because you look at the great running backs in the NFL these days. They're great pass protectors. Look at Saquon Barkley. Look at Bijan Robinson. You have to be able to pass protect. And if you can't pass protect, you're not going to get the reps because that's a problem that we have with running backs in the past. That's why Jaylen Warren gets the playing time he does because he's known to be a decent pass protector. So I guess in running downs, you could use Ollie Gordon and turn to Jaylen Warren when you want to pass the ball and you need a pass blocker. I guess that maybe plays off each other a little bit nicely, but I don't really see Jaylen Warren as part of the Steelers' future either. I think maybe this is his last year in Pittsburgh after the Steelers picked up his option. I think he's going to have to prove a lot to me in order to stick around. So that big drop off of production is really a red flag for Ollie Gordon in 2024. Acceleration is just adequate. That goes back to the breakaway speed that he doesn't necessarily have. But then you look back at the good and you think about how he picks up speed as he runs down the field. So I think a lot of these things offset each other. He had 6 fumbles in 3 seasons. That's not really a high number. I mean, that's one every like 5 games, but you also have to take into account that's at the college level. We're going to the NFL now. These guys are going to be stronger. They're going to be trying to punch balls out. You see TJ Watt constantly throwing fists at that ball, trying to punch that ball out. There's some guys in the league that are specialists at that, and they can take advantage of Ollie Gordon not being able to protect that football. You look at his bio. We're just going to go over this real quickly. Originally a unanimous 4-star prospect out of Euless Trinity in Euless, Texas. He earned his first start as a true freshman. He's still young. He's only 21 years old. Started 27 games, received votes for the Heisman in 2023, unanimous All-American in 2023. And then you go down to 2023 where he won the Doak Walker Award for the NCAA's best running back and the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award in 2023. But that big drop-off, guys, that's a big red flag for a lot of teams. The drop-off and the 40 time for Ollie Gordon, which gives the Steelers an opportunity to pounce on this guy and get him in the 4th round. And I think that'd be a great buy on a running back of Ollie's caliber. I mean, he was a preseason favorite for the Heisman in 2024. Even though he had a down year, everybody knows this guy's got the game. I mean, he's a great player, but those minor lower body injuries, I mean, he hasn't had any like super serious injuries lately. So Ollie Gordon is a healthy back. He's a young back. He can come in and be that power back for the Pittsburgh Steelers and take over where Najee Harris left off and be that 1,000-yard per season kind of guy. And then if you look back even further, this is the last thing I'm going to show you guys. Ollie Gordon actually did have an interview about how he would like to continue the big body running back tradition in Pittsburgh. He actually went out of his way to say that in an interview that he would love to play for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. He said, I feel like it'd be huge just because playing for the coach, it is. He said that during a Senior Bowl media lunch. Coach Mike Tomlin, he's a great guy, great person, and I wouldn't mind playing for him. So Ollie Gordon's on board. He'd love to play for Mike Tomlin, who is by far the most visible head coach in Mobile, Alabama. When they had this Senior Bowl and he was interacting with players, standing right in the middle of drills during practice, making sure he got a feel for things. Because you're talking about a coach that made Le'Veon Bell, Najee Harris, guys like that look really good. Ollie Gordon, he's a pretty talented running back. I would like to see him in that offense, especially with our offensive line continuing to improve. You look back at the old days with Franco Harris, Jerome Bettis, the Steelers always tend to go for these big body running backs. Ollie Gordon, no different. No different. This guy is a beast. I would love to see him in Pittsburgh. He's not my number one choice, but he's top 3. He's top 3 for me. So Ollie Gordon, we're going to keep an eye on him. His name is one to watch leading up to the draft. If he's the next Steelers running back, you will not hear me complaining here on Steelers Digest. So thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll continue to keep you in the loop on all things Steelers.